Shalom, shalom. We just adjust this a little bit better so y'all can see. Shalom, shalom. First off, we start off by giving all praises, honors, and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Makar Padash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the Church of Great Millstone, and shalom to the sincere, hopeful elect. Brothers out there that's prophesying in the true name, the true doctrine, about the times we're in ahead of you. For the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Alright, we are here once again in the highways and the hedges, to prophesy about that. To warn the people, to blow the trumpet, to teach, right? Because that's the love of the Lord. What to do His will. To keep His commandment. And that's part of a commandment. What's a commandment? When somebody commands you to do something. And we're taking command from what? From who? Yahweh, the King of the universe. So, if you got that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you got the sword, you got to use that to cut the head off the snakes. To rebuke the wickedness that's going on. Like the Lord told Ezekiel, cry loud, spare none. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show my people their transgressions. So that's what you're supposed to do. Because everybody, talks about repenting and loving God when shit hits the fan, whatever circumstance that they're going through. But how do they know what to repent from? If they don't even know the basic laws and statutes that the Lord had written in the scriptures. Like, do you know, that believe in God? Quick question.
That is a quick question.
It is a quick question. You didn't even answer it. But these people, they don't take heed. That's why when all hell breaks loose, people like that's going to get taken up in the famine, in pestilences. Then they're going to know, all right, you know what, damn, that man that was on the corner. Because I was going to ask him, because you got a lot of people that say they believe in God, but they don't even look and dissect. All right, what did the Lord say to them? The basics 101. Yo, dietary law. Don't be eating pork, shrimp, crab. That's against the laws of the Lord. How y'all doing? That's against the laws of the Lord. And all those Christians and those die-hard religious people in these whorehouses, they don't bring out things like that. Why? Because what? They don't truly believe, man. You can say you believe. Your words can utter out whatever. But where does your actions lie? That's what the Lord wants to see. Actions. Right? Are you going to stand firm for me? As a matter of fact, let's get that real quick. In the book of Psalms. Because who's standing up? Right? Who's rising up against the workers of iniquity? That's why the Lord, all throughout the scriptures, it speaks about what? A remnant. So this is the book of Psalms, chapter 94. This truck go by real quick. The book of Psalms, chapter 94. And I'm going to start at 3. And then I'm going to jump down to 16. So it says, Lord, how long shall the wicked triumph? So these are things that we ask ourselves. How long shall the wicked triumph? Right? Because who's ruling society? Who rules the banks? Who rules the laws of the land that these private-owned business owners, gotta call up to? The elites. Who rules the gold? Who made the Constitution? Your so-called quote-unquote rights. Right? These unjust laws. These elites, your Rockefellers, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Freemasons, yeah? The Oppenheimers, your DuPonts, your Gettys, where they have meetings of, damn, what it's called, it slips me at the moment. It slips me at the moment. But anyways, you have elites, you know? Because the government, they're like frontline workers for the elites. You know, they create a show to persuade, divide and conquer. This guy's laughing, but he don't even know what I'm talking about. Why don't you roll down your windows, my man, so you can hear something? You know, but they create a division, a false division, because it's all an illusion. Because you see it through the media, television, telling lies to your vision. You know, telling lies to your five senses. Right? They're two birds. They're two wings of the same bird. You know, you got your Trumps and you got your Bidens. They fucking, right after they go against each other, so-called, they probably having lunch on a private island somewhere. You know? But what? They see the reactions of the people. That's what they want. It's like an enchantment they put on them. You know? But what? Even Job said that the triumphing, matter of fact, let's get that real quick. I'm going to read this. I'm going to get the book of Job, and then we're going to jump back. Because precept must be upon precept. For what? A better understanding. So back to Psalms chapter number 94, verse 3. Lord, how long shall the wicked triumph? And you only had short periods of time for what? Egypt to rule. You had short periods of time for Rome to rule, for Greece to rule, for the Assyrians to rule, for Moab, for Nineveh, yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah. America hasn't been ruling that long. You know? What, 1776? Right? That's when they really started to come into power. Matter of fact, a little bit before, we can even go back to the Renaissance period. You know? Because Renaissance meaning rebirth. You know? Be rebirth. Why? Because they raped, robbed, and murdered the lost tribes of Israel. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native and similar Indians, and they want to look down on them. How the hell do you think you got this land? Why don't you ask yourself that? You know? But it was only by the Spirit of the Lord to allow you to do that. Because what? We went off as a nation. So we got to reap what we got to go through the consequences. You know? We broke the laws of the Lord. Our people started whoring to other gods. You know? Hey, that's what they get, rightfully so. Fuck them. You know, because ultimately, when the Lord established the kingdom of heaven on earth, our people are going to be in their right mind after they suffer the repercussions of the famine, of not taking heed to the words of the Lord from the men. You know? But the elect, the Lord is waking up, they're going to be the first fruits. They're going to be that governing body, that government that the Lord is establishing right now in the face of our enemies, in the face of all of our enemies. The Lord is rising up his men in captivity. Come on, man. So how long is the wicked going to triumph? Let's get down to the book of Job.
I'm going to keep moving, but I just want to say hello.
What's up, man?
I lost your phone number. So I'll catch you next time.
Alright. So this is the book of Job, chapter 20, verse number 5. And it reads that the triumphing of the wicked is short. Because we're about to head to World War III. Are you guys aware of that? You're not aware of what's going on, man. That's why when all these prophecies hit, a lot of these people's gonna run around like a chicken without a head. You know? Oh man. It's crazy, it's bananas because yo, we really can see the future. You know, and I was thinking about that the other day. Like yo, that's an ability, a spiritual ability. Like you got some brothers that literally could see the future, even with their own scenarios and their daily lives and what they go through. You know? Because you got a lot of men that they know they're Israelites. They know certain scriptures that they like to nitpick or whatever and use for their own vain glory. We know that. Because by men doing that, they're fulfilling prophecy within itself as well. So you can't get mad at that. But one thing for sure, two things for certain, you have to and you must acknowledge it. Even upon yourself. Like, damn, you know what? Let me get my shit together. So I won't lead the sheep astray. Because you got people that really think they're doing the right thing. And they're deceiving themselves. And that's, you know, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Lord. You know? So that's why the Lord will put you through scenarios so you can examine things like a chessboard. You know, you got men that play chess, but they're not seeing the chessboard within their own lives. You know what I'm saying? You got to see the bigger picture. Just like when you read the scriptures. You got to see the bigger picture. Because even when you go through things of your own life, there's prophecies being played out. You know, like Paul said, the things that was written aforetime was written for our learning. You know? So what? They mocked and scoffed and scorned at the men of the Lord back then. Paul, Yahushua, Peter, John, Amos, Daniel, Abraham, Noah. And Noah was rocking by himself. Gangster. You know, that's a hard thing to go through, right? You're not really ever alone. You know, don't get it twisted. As the scriptures say, the angels encampeth around them that fear the Lord. But when you read those testimonies, you're reading about yourself. You believe in God? You believe in God, bro?
I've read the Old Testament and I'm worried that there is a God.
You said you worried?
I'm worried that there is, like, Yahweh exists. Because I've read the story of Job and Yahweh is a very hateful God.
Well, hey, check it out though. When you read about the book of Job, there was a reason why he went through what he went through.
It was basically a bet between him and Satan. That's basically
no, but
it.
okay.
But he never undid the things he did. So.
But what?
He
He blessed Job. Job was rich. He blessed because the Lord could take your job away from you and bless you with a better job. But you asking yourself, that because the Lord want to see your integrity. He want to see your faith. You know, because the Lord blessed us with this whole earth. There's things that gets taken away in life, just like your parent. Your parents, they'll put you through punishment. But you're looking at your parent like, oh, they're hateful. No, they want to see because they know that you got some shit that you got to learn. And then when you learn, then they're like, you know what? I'm going to bless you with this because you didn't disobey. You didn't, you know, you kept your faith in your parents. It's the same thing with the Lord. The Lord blessed him with double, you know, because what? That represents us now. You see? So people, this is not just a novel. Oh, yeah, you just read it like a comic book. It's a spiritual thing. You know, because we're going through it on our daily lives. You know, because this is wicked, our wicked kingdom. You know, and we got to see that for ourselves. You know, because it's not only the Old Testament, bro. It's the New Testament as well. You know what I mean? It's the whole book, right? So what? The Lord had disciples. They went through trials and tribulations. We're going to go through that, bro. Because you got to go through it to grow as a person. You know? There has to be shit. Because if everything was peaches and creams, it's going to be hard for you to learn through experiences. You know? We got to go through experiences. So don't look at it as, yeah, the Lord hates. Don't we hate sometimes when people shit on us? That's an emotion. That's natural. We're made in the Lord's image. But He loves. He gets jealous. If your woman commits adultery, are you not going to get jealous? Are you just going to be like, yeah, I'm going to just love her? Like, those are natural things that you can't escape from. You know, we're in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you got to...
Nice to meet you.
You know? And these are things that we got to learn. But if you're weak-minded, you're just going to take it and for faith, you got to take it with a spiritual eye. You know? Because if you meet somebody, they could paint a picture. Right? Like, all right, for instance, you got a lot of Christians and people in these so-called religious buildings, but they'll envy you at the same time. They'll judge you quick off the bat. I know, I had experiences with that, you know?
Because people
But,
are perfect.
right. But they'll look at you in a sense like, for their own vain glory, you know? They'll nitpick in certain scriptures so they can look good. We got to read everything, the good and the bad, so that way you can see the full picture. You know what I'm saying? See the bigger picture of why the Lord did what He did. You know? Because what? He's coming back. The Lord, what people call Jesus or Yahweh, whatever, His real name is Yahweh Shai. In the Paleo Hebrew.
It's more like Yeshua.
Alright, now, I am that I am, right? In the book of Matthew, because you got to understand, when you read these scriptures, King James Version primarily, right? You got to, in the Old Testament was mostly written in Hebrew, yeah? The New Testament, because it was a different period of time, because we was under the Roman captivity and the Herodian dynasty. So, you got to break certain words down in Greek and Latin so you can get a better understanding of the context.
Which is why Christ became from, it came from Greek and which came from Latin. Because Christ isn't really His name, it's more like His title.
That's right.
Because it means the anointed one.
That's right.
It's not His name, it's
That's
His
right.
title.
That's true. Not a lot of people know that.
I do, because as
And,
I said, I read the Old Testament.
Okay, that's cool.
It's very interesting. I like the Old Testament. It is has a lot of interesting stories. I like the stories of it. It's very
Now, Christ meaning the anointed one.
Right.
Because there was other people that had the name, but they weren't the anointed ones. That's why that was specified, you know? So, like even Joshua, when you break it down, you know?
Right.
But it's Yahweh Shai, and I say that because you have different forms of Hebrew and different vowels that came in different time periods. Paleo Hebrew. Because now you got Yiddish, where they added certain vowels. Like the letter J wasn't about, the letter J wasn't created about the early 1500s, 1600s. So they obviously could not have been calling Him Jesus, right? There was a slave ship called Jesus. Go figure, you know? And that's actual historical facts, you know? But Yahweh Shai, even when you look at the four initials, the Yahweh, taking away the A's, Yah, the W, the Y, W, you know, HW, right? If I'm saying it correctly, correct me if I'm wrong. But you add the A's, right? And there's Yahweh, meaning He is the deliverer, because He's coming back to deliver His elect. Not everybody. The elect out of the house of the nation of Israel. The Lord's trial, He said, I came not, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now, it can get controversial because what? Yeah, we've been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, intermingled with other nations, speaking other languages, right? And I mean Israel, meaning Yasha'ala, the princes of the power. Now the 12 tribes, 12 sons that was blessed, which was what? You had Ephraim, Jacob, Manasseh, so on and so forth, which became nations. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native and Seminole Indians. And I say it like that because those are just names that was given throughout slavery. Now, even with myself, a prime example, right? I would say I'm Puerto Rican, which I'm not, but I only know that through, right, Spanish. My people were raped, robbed, and murdered by the Spaniards, right? During the time of Christopher Colon, around the late 1400s. And they started, when you look up the Indian boarding school, they started to beat us. Beat the names out of us, made us shave our beards, made us grow our hairs, and even gave us different apparels. Because like when I'm redressing now, this is ancient apparel. Because the Old Testament, in the book of Numbers, the 15th chapter speaks about fringes and wearing the borders of blue. So this represents the law, statutes, and commandments. So when we look at it, it reminds us, like, oh, you know what, we gotta, like, there's a dietary law. Don't eat shrimp, crab, lobster. There's a law where don't shave your beards. Right. And those things, right now in this captivity, we know we can't keep it all perfect. Right? Because you can't, you go to work, there's a dress code. But that's why in the New Testament, it speaks about being wise as serpent, harmless as doves. Because certain things, like certain laws, we break unwillingly. But the Lord sees our heart, la'ah, in the Hebrew, which is our minds. So he knows, you gotta work, I get that. You know what I'm saying? But at least try to keep your beard. At least keep a dietary. Because what? It says to rehearse the righteous acts. The Lord just wants to see you try.
Yeah, just practice.
That's why in a lot of the Old Testament, people read it and it's like, oh, it's gruesome. I get it. But this is why it puts the fear on you. Because when you fear the Lord, right, it's to respect him. Like, don't intentionally have sex with another man's wife. Right. Because you can. And a lot of that's promoted what? Through the media, through music. So people get caught off guard. And now people worship that. Look, where in the scriptures does it say worship Christmas, Valentine's Day? Dress your daughter up as a witch. In the Old Testament it says suffer not a witch to live.
I'm pretty sure it says that if you were to dress up as being culty, you were to be put to death. I don't remember which scripture that is, but I remember something like that. Okay. I could be completely wrong.
No, yeah. Okay, but even with that, in a sense, where it says suffer not a witch to live. Right? Now what? We're going to just kill somebody right now? No. Because we'll go to jail. That's not using wisdom. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a balance. Like the scriptures in Proverbs, it says what? A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, meaning a filthy act. So there's a lot of things that we can't do that would technically be justified, but that's not using wisdom. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the controversy comes into play, and this is church. To call out. That's what church means.
The main thing that people don't really understand is that the Bible isn't perfect because it wasn't written by God. It was written by people. That's the main thing that people don't understand, is that the Bible isn't perfect because it is man's interpretation of God's will.
Well,
basically.
Monkeys didn't read it.
Right.
Right? I mean, a man wrote science books.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to understand. That's why even they try to upset prophecy by retransliterations. Look up the meeting of the Council of Nicaea. There was a group of elites and brought in sectors of religious company to take away certain precepts and scriptures. Right? The King James Version has all of them. Other testaments, there's about 80 precepts that's taken out.
I think in the one you're talking about, a lot of the Leviticus is taken out. Like a lot of
So why take it out? You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and those are historical events that happen. You can't just erase that and brush it under the rug, like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, you gotta look into that, like, okay. So, if they trying to upset prophecy so bad, I'll tell you this.
It's almost
This
like
book-
the Illuminati. Almost.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Illuminati just means the enlightened ones.
Right.
Right. Now
They're
check
trying
this
to
out.
manipulate the entire religion.
Check this out. Now, one day to the Lord is one day to us is 1,000 years to the Lord, like the scriptures say, right? Because He's the Spirit, you know. Now, okay, a lot of people won't believe in everything, but this was written about because when Yahweh Shah was on the scene in the flesh, who people call Jesus or whatever,
Right.
that was about 2,000 plus years ago, right? Now there was prophets before that, like Noah, you know. So you would equivalent that to maybe 3,000 years. Now, the prophecies that's written in the scriptures, is it not coming to pass now? Now, when you read about the book of Revelation, Revelation meaning to reveal, it speaks about, let me adjust this a little bit better. It speaks about the hour of temptation, the mark of the beast. Now, the government is adjusting fiat currency. Now you got inflation going to hyperinflation, which will lead to what? A complete crash of the dollar, right? Now when you look up, that's why you got to look up, watch and pray, the scriptures say. They're resulting to digital currency. That's why they're using the jab as a scapegoat to get people psychologically used to this. So when the economy collapsed, they're just like, oh, well, you know what, we're pushed to a corner. We can't feed our children. We can't work. We can't pay mortgage, car insurance. So, you know what? Let's just take it on our right hand or on our forehead. Willingly. A lot of people are doing it willingly, bro. Like the new governor in New York, he wants New York to be the first place for digital currency. So now you got to see things happen as trial runs first before it becomes mandated. In Sweden, they're about 90% cashless, bro. They take that mark, and I don't want to say certain words because even with YouTube, they're sensitive. You know, because even with social media, like they're taking certain things out. When you look up something, like 10 years ago, you would look up something, and now you look it up, and it's like, damn, you got to go to alternative, like sites like DuckDuckGo and things like that. You know, so, and World War III. Those are the last major two prophecies.
Yeah, World War III is actually coming up too, because Russia's going to war with Europe.
Bro, I've been
I forgot the name of the country. It's Uruguay.
The conflict that's going on with Ukraine, because NATO, Russia's been going. Matter of fact, can I bring this up?
It's Ukraine, not Uruguay. What?
Yeah. NATO and Ukraine, right? Now, America is Babylon the Great. You got ancient Babylon, right? This is why Yahweh Shah came to reveal the seven seals. Because visions that John has seen, he couldn't really interpret at that time.
Right.
Like even with the missiles they saw, they referred to it as glittering swords. Because they just tried to interpret it to the best of their ability at the time they were living.
You didn't really have the ability to really process it.
Right, exactly. So you understand, you know, a lot of people wouldn't, but it's not meant for everybody.
I have a very strong mentality that you should never try to doubt something until you know everything about it. That's why I've been reading.
That's why the scriptures say in the New Testament, again, try the spirit by the spirit. Because I'm not just going to jump down, I don't know. That's why we're talking, dialogue, and we filter everything we know through the scriptures for a better understanding, and through historical events. You could use, I got other books too, but real quick, now when you read about the scriptures of woe, when it says woe, W-O-E, right, that's referred to as war, evil times, destruction that's coming upon the land, right? So real quick, in the book of Revelation chapter 11, verse number 14, the second woe, and this is John the Revelator, the visions he saw, yeah? The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Now, there's always been wars, right? There's always been different wars, proxy wars, even with the 13 colonies. There's always been wars. But we got to look at it as global. Now this is global. Even with the pandemic, it's a global event. Because there's always been sickness, there's always been viruses, there's always been these things. I get that.
There's never been a pestilence like this for a long time.
In this magnitude, the whole earth has been shaken by this. So that shows you, all right, now, since the new decade, since 2020, year by year it's been getting worse and worse. Like the scriptures speak about the birth pains. Like it gave analogies, because the scriptures is written by metaphors. That's why Yahweh Shai spoke in parables, and it referred to as like a woman in travail. Like the birth pains, right when at the end when she's about to give birth, it gets shorter and shorter, and it gets worse and worse. The pains, just like now, This is why now Biden just brought up troops, military troops in 6 states to go into hospitals, and there goes that number. Because they deal with numbers, they deal with witchcraft and sorcery, through the media, you know what I mean? So, even at one point he said, I don't care if it takes 6 years, 6 months, or 6 weeks. But see, little things like that goes over people's heads. They deal with the Masons, the Rockefellers, these secret society, like, the government, they're just the puppets, They don't own nothing. They're the two wings of the same bird. It's an illusion that they're going against each other. But what? They make people go divide and conquer, But what? The scriptures speak about how they spoke as a dragon. Esau, because they come from the so-called Caucasians. They come from who? Esau. You know about Genesis 25th chapter. Jacob and Esau, 2 different nations. Yeah, they came from the same womb, but they had 2 different spirits. Because the Lord can do whatever he wants. He's the Lord, He can do whatever he wants. We're limited in a certain sense. But what? We all got a forefather. We all came from somebody. Right? Israel, we came from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Even going back to Noah, through his lineage. You break that down through process of elimination. Even when the scriptures speak about in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, a specific people going through specific things. Captivity, in the hood, going through the ones last hired, first fired. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. You read about that, you're like, all right, let me step back. Who's going through that? You know what I'm saying? So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native and similar Indians. Because you got to ask yourself, the scriptures in the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24 says what? The earth was given unto the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, then where and who is he? And when during the Renaissance period, you had something called iconoclasm, when they whitewashed people, the Russian icons, things like that. Even in the movies, bro, how the white men always come out victorious.
That's one thing I've never did understand, because realistically, how do you pronounce it? Jesus' real name is
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
There you go. Yahweh.
The problem with Yahweh is he's always depicted as a white man, but he was born in the Middle East, so shouldn't he be tan or more brown?
Right, and that's a good question, because I've had many conversations, and even in debates, if you will, with Christians, and they'll come up to me, oh, well, it's the spirit. That's true.
Yeah,
but did he not come in the flesh, though?
Yeah, it's the spirit, but not the body. The body is not.
Right, because we got a spirit.
He was never described as pale.
Right. And you know
Plus,
what?
he was a carpenter. He worked out in the sun. He couldn't be pale. He couldn't.
Exactly.
He couldn't be.
Exactly. And the scriptures even speak about a man going against a man with long hair. In the book of 1 Corinthians, I believe the 11th chapter. So why would the Lord go against something he said?
Right.
He wouldn't contradict himself, But I'm going to get that for you. This is the book of Revelation, chapter number 1. We start at verse number 14. It says, his head and his hairs. Now first it described his head. which is the crown. Then his head and his hairs. Now your beard, because it interconnects, right? Were white like wool. So now it describes the color. It was white. He had white hair. Now it says as wool. So now he had what? White and woolly hair. You know what I mean? So that goes against him not having long hair right then and there.
Right.
You know?
It's thin.
As white as snow, and its eyes were as a flame of fire. Now describe that because
He had red eyes. I never knew that.
it not looked like your pupil like red.
So it's
But
metaphorical.
because he drank wine.
Ah.
You know, when you drink wine, and there is a lot of stress. Even the wicked scribes and Pharisees at one point called him a wine bibber. But they didn't understand his role that he had. Just like it's not against the law to drink, but it's against it's not right to overindulge. You get what I'm saying? Because now you got all types of liquor that's mixed, and that shit will just destroy your kidneys and your liver. You know, if you overindulge now.
Poison.
Back then, you know, things was made natural, bro.
And you couldn't overindulge because
With the
there just wasn't
grapes.
enough to do so.
You know, yeah, and that's a false balance anyway. You know, he kept the balance too. You know, don't drink if you didn't eat. You know what I'm saying? But his eyes was red, so it's just great. It's just giving a depiction. You know, and he was angry too. He was angry for the sins and the things he was seeing. Because you got to keep in mind, he was under the Roman captivity. They were just freeballing and just not caring. Like when you watch these ancient movies, you look at how they were just, like Sodom and Gomorrah, for instance. They didn't care if they had intercourse in the streets. You know, so at those times you gotta, when you read the scriptures, you gotta visualize the time and everything like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's the whole thing that a lot of people try to misinterpret the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom wasn't destroyed because it was full of gay people, it's because it was full of sin.
Exactly. That was just part of it.
Right.
Right. And I just want to finish this before you leave.
Yeah, just 1 second. I want to, what part are you reading right now? I need to write it down.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1. I started at verse 14.
Verse 14. I'll need to read that again. Thank you.
Yeah, and always read it for yourself.
Right.
And everything I'm telling you, look it up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a lot of people that'll tell you something just so they can look good. I'm going to tell you the good and the bad. And even for myself, if I screwed up, I got to be honest with myself.
Right.
You know? Because we're striving for that perfection. And it's coming soon. But it says, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, like a penny. Right? Now, your feet and the palm of your hand is the two lightest part of your bodies. Yeah?
Which means your skin is very dark.
Go figure. So if his feet was that color,
The rest of his body's got to even be.
I mean, come on.
Right.
You know, so it says,
He's got to be a very swarthy person.
yeah. So it says, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, meaning very dark. And his voice as the sound of many waters. Because remember, he spoke to a multitude, like what I'm doing. He was out to and fro. Remember when it speaks about how he fed the multitude, 5,000, 3,000. So like in the movies, he's whispering, oh sweet. No, he spoke with authority. The Lord said, as a voice of many waters, because water travels. Right? When you speak, the vibration, it travels. Just like, well, I'm under here is an echo. You get what I'm saying?
To a lot of people, so his voice got hoarse.
Yeah, that's all. You know? Because he still had compassion on his people. But he needed to know. He needed them to know the seriousness. Because this is life or death. You know what I'm saying? So it says, his voice as the sound of many waters. And he had in his right hand 7 stars out of his mouth. Okay, so that's now 7 stars, you know, representing 7 churches, you know. But I just wanted to get to the point, to the heart of the matter, you know, because we came over here in cargo slave ships to serve slavery, man, the transatlantic slave trade. So there's a lot of deception here, even with the education system. That was founded by the Rockefeller Foundation, bro. So that's why they indoctrinate the kids from young. So throughout generation, they'll tell you now, oh, well, you know, this is all I know. Even with first pagan days, religions, because there's always a history behind that, you know? Like, that's what people say. Oh, even my own people, the Puerto Ricans. I tell them this, and they'll shun me in a heartbeat, because this is all they know. So now, a regular man like me on the corner, in the streets, doing the will of the Lord, as he said, because the scripture said the Lord in the book of Acts says what? The Lord dwelleth not in temples made with hands. We're the temple. It starts with us, bro. That's why there is a dietary. Because you got them that, oh, you must wear a suit. Go to church. That's why he told them those are whorehouses. Do you see a basket out here? Oh, give me $20, bro. The Lord is going to bless you. I don't need your money, bro. I just need you to repent and acknowledge your offenses. Because how are you going to repent if you don't know what you're repenting from? Because there's not only 10 commandments. There's 613 commandments. You know? But are we going to keep all that? No, we're not. We can't. Even if we tried, we can't.
We wouldn't be able to.
We wouldn't be able to. That's why I think it's in Judges, if I'm not mistaken, where it speaks about, let me see if I get that. Matter of fact, you got your phone?
I don't have the ability to look up
Okay.
right now.
I gotta get another phone and hook up the hotspot.
Right.
When I do though, everything is done and decent and in order. But when I do, I'll be able to look up scriptures better. But it speaks about how we in the land that over here now in the latter days, we're gonna rehearse the righteous acts, because now we're remembering, oh, we are Hebrew Israelites. Process of elimination through prophecies. All right, these are those people. You know, their forefathers. Because the Lord broke up, and I'll get that for you. The Lord broke up the lands. Because during the time of Noah, right, prior to the flood, they never saw rain. Well, I think they looked at him like he was crazy. There was always dew in the middle of the night. You know when you wake up and you go and you see the grass and it's all wet? You're like, whoa. Because what? You got the third heavens. There's water in the clouds. There's water in the atmosphere. You know? Where our bodies is what? About 75, 80% water. So, there was always dew to replenish the land, you know? But to see rain, they're like, yo, you bugged out. And mind you, he was by himself. So he was going on against hundreds of naysayers. So it's like...
Not only was he saying that there was going to be rain, it was going to be a flood. So you can imagine how hard that was.
A flood, exactly. A flood. From where? Who's going to bring this? You know, your imaginary God? But what? It's a spiritual...
like a volcano being in Florida.
Because just like now, people have visions and like sleep. Because the Lord could do that. So somebody tell you, I seen this. And it's like a whole bunch, because the Lord deals with the least expected. That's how he shows his power. You know what I mean? He deals with the underdog. Like a team that's been being the worst the whole time. They come back, end up in the playoffs. There are people that's like, oh snap, I didn't expect them to, you know what I mean? They didn't expect no to be right. You know, but I just want to get this real quick. In the book of Deuteronomy, right? Chapter 32, verse, bear with me. I gotta remember, the scriptures speak about precept must be upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little, you know? Because everything I speak, I gotta speak according to the word, not just my own opinion or emotions. Because I can lead you astray and the Lord could jack me up there. Because then your blood is going to be upon my hands, whether you believe it or not. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse number 8. Now at that time, this is what I wanted to bring out too. At that time, there was something called the Pangea, which means all the lands was connected. That was the Garden of Eden. But see, the Lord, the wickedness was accumulated. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to have to break down, because the Lord had a further plan. At the time, Noah was like, damn, what's going on? I'm going to keep the faith, I'm going to make the ark. And Noah never even seen a flood. So picture his faith, you know? But it said, verse, let me start at 7. The point is at 8. Remember the days of old, considering the years of many generations. So we got to consider these things when we read about the days of old. That's why Paul said the things that was written aforetime was written for our learning. That's, I believe, Romans the 15th chapter. You know? So we got to consider what we read, because there's no new thing under the sun. You know, the Lord requires that which is past. The Lord changes not. Like it says in Malachi, the last chapter. He don't change. You know? The Lord can't lie, bro. He can't lie. Everything is manifesting for itself. Believe it, like it or not, these people are going to see it. And finally, we're at the end. Because it has to get worse before it gets better. No more crime, bro. The Lord is going to wipe away all tears. No more having to work. That's captivity. You're working for somebody. A business owner. You know? And it's like, who wants to work for somebody? We're kings. We're princes of the power. We're judges. You know? But when you understand Jacob and Esau, how you doing? You gotta understand, Jacob, pardon me, Esau is the so-called Edomite, or the Edomites, which are the Caucasians, which are these elites. Jacob is the forefathers of Abraham, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Seminole Indians, which are the lost tribes of Israel. We're at the bottom. They're at the top right now. Soon they're going to have to be at the bottom, and we're going to be at the top, ruling righteously. You know? Like, you're not going to worry about having to pay rent, car insurance, getting sick. All this is hell. This is not our resting place. How can you rest? You work. And the scriptures say, it refers to as like having a bag with holes. All these bills you got to pay. And now it's like, damn, I got to eat. You always got to work. In the kingdom, it's not, because real money is land. Real money is animals. Real money is having multiple women. Like in those ancient movies. You know? Game of Thrones, or, you know, that's, where you think they got all that from? Job. Yeah, multiple. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. Because as a king, we're supposed to rule like that. With a scepter. You know what I'm saying? Ruling righteously with the animals. These elites, they don't care about the earth.
They're selfish.
Causing wildfires, causing modified, you got something called HARP. I don't know if you heard about it. Look it up.
I didn't even hear you.
That's Satan. When the word comes out, he brings noise. Because we battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Trust me. Satan don't like that I'm up here. He'll like to cause distractions. But anyway, yo, this word, man, is it's powerful when you really, really dissect it. You know, but you gotta know it for yourself. And that's why the scriptures always spoke about a remnant seeing that. But anyway, it's something called H-A-R-R-P. Heart. Or H-A-A-R-P. But I believe it's H-A-R-R-P.
I think it's H-A-A-R-P. I could be wrong.
You can look it up. And it's weather modification. Right? And that's as a form of a war tactic. They could cause earthquakes. They could cause
storms.
And then
that's an actual thing too.
Yeah.
So, I've read up on that. That's I think it was early prototypes where they put iron dust in clouds to try to make them fall to cause storms, but it didn't really work. But what they do now is when you see planes with long cloud trails, that is trying to modify the weather to make it rain, basically.
Yeah, the chemistry. Yep. And you even see the, like if you got a car, you wake up, you see it on there's all types of metals, you know. But yeah, exactly. You're right, you know? So, just when looking at things like that, it's like, damn. Because what? The Lord allowed them to rule like that. You know, because at the end of the day, our people went off as a nation. We went off whoring to other gods. We went off committing our own will. So now it's like, yo, you gotta, it's like a punishment. You know, but now we're coming back. We're knowing that we're Israelites. We're knowing that we spoke Hebrew. You know, because everything started from somewhere. Languages, everything. You know, but we gotta go back to the beginning. You know, we're learning what prophecies are. We're learning not to do certain things, to commit certain things. At some period of time, the Lord took his face from us. You know, but now we're coming back to our righteous mind. Not everybody. You know, but the Lord, the ones, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You know, and let me finish this real quick. It says, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee. So the Lord will show you the teaching. Because I learned from my apostles. The apostles, the Lord goes up over there in New York. And now, throughout the four corners of the earth, now you have men teaching what I'm teaching. Well, what they're teaching. And it trickled down. Because it's not just me here. Believe that. It's in New York. You got men in everywhere. London, Hawaii. You know, you look it up on YouTube. You know, now you got false prophets. You're going to have that. Because that's the balance. Now those are stumbling stones that the Lord spoke about. You're going to have stumbling stones. You're going to have philosophies of the world. Science, the this, the that. That has to take place. But only you know for yourself through the Spirit if the Lord's supping with you. He will guide you. You know what I'm saying? While everybody else is being deceived. Because this place is about to be destroyed. I promise you that. I could bet my bottom dollar on that. This place is already being destroyed. It's crumbling from the inside out. Just like every country, like Egypt. The Lord, but right before it was destroyed, the Lord rose up men. Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham, Nineveh, Jonah, right? Rome, Greece, ancient Babylon, so on and so forth. This now, we here now. Now they're all here today in the spirit, reincarnated, prophesying against this place. You know, ancient, this is Babylon the Great. Babel, I believe in the Latin meaning what? Confusion. Is this not the land of confusion? You could be whatever you want. You can have multiple religion buildings on the same block. And they'll all go, oh, but God is all love. Okay. God is all love. So why did he raise up King David to slew the stone and the Philistines had and kill him to lead his people?
That's the thing. If God made us in his image, that means humans are not perfect, therefore God cannot be.
No, God's perfect. We're not. Because we gotta learn. We gotta learn. Every man we have to learn. The Lord don't need us. We need him. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get right. Now if everything was perfect, this would be the kingdom. People wouldn't be dying. We die because of sin. But you have to acknowledge that. That's when the perfection start coming. That's why Yahweh Shai came on the scene, bro. So he could tell us these things. Look, before the second coming, do this, that, and the third. Get right. Become a new man through the washing of the water by the word. And then when the Lord comes back, everything's going to be perfect. But how can you have good without acknowledging what wicked is? That be the purpose of repenting. Oh Lord, forgive me. Forgive you for what? If you're perfect. Right? Then if that's the case, then just don't even read the Bible. Don't even believe in God. Believe in yourself. You're perfect. Okay, so just, you know, the food ain't even perfect right now. But what? The Lord made the trees perfect. The Lord made the animals perfect. The Lord made our body. Even with our imperfect body, is perfect. Your heart beats without you ain't making your heart beat. It's just the way it flows, the way your lips are designed so you won't get dehydrated, the way you blink so your eyes won't dry. Little things like that. You look at your thumb, how swirls, just like how tornadoes swirl, just like how the shell on a snail swirls. We come from nature.
The
That's
golden ratio
perfect.
found everywhere.
Right, sacred geometry. Even that's perfect. So you gotta look into that. You gotta see. Perfection's gonna come soon. I promise you. The reason why things are not perfect now is because the wicked are ruling. And we gotta acknowledge that. We went off. The Lord said, do this, that, and the third. We didn't abide by his law. Just like a kid. Yo, you're not listening, man. You know what? I'm gonna have to punish you. So you can acknowledge your offenses. How do you think people get locked up? And I'm not condoning putting a man in a cage because you ain't paid your car ticket. Now that's, we know it's business.
Right.
But a rapist running around like, okay,
Yeah,
I understand.
About that.
That guy need to acknowledge the shit that he did. Rightfully so. Like you can't just run rapping, killing somebody's daughter. But we gotta understand there's judgment. Judgment comes in the form of those things. People don't acknowledge that the Lord judges the earth. And I'm gonna get that for you real quick. In the book of Job,
After this, I'm gonna have to go.
after this you'll go. And I'm gonna give you my channel too if you wanna take it down.
Alright.
Because I do live streamings, I do updates, I do whatever you want, whatever you ask. Scripture say give an answer for everything. Whatever you ask. Don't be shy, bro. But the Lord is using me as a vessel. It's not me, it's him that sent me. I don't take no glory for this. All praises go to him. That's what people gotta acknowledge too. They think, oh, it's me, it's me, it's me. No, you gotta get out that me mentality. Because that's the
You didn't write the Bible.
that's the beginning of pride, But this is the book of Job, chapter 19.
I like
Like say if you get hit by a car. That's the Lord judging. Now, by him not killing you, that's
testing.
mercy.
Testing.
Not exactly. Because mercy's not always, yo, here's some lollipops and a new beamer. Mercy don't always feel good.
Mercy can sometimes be trials and tribulations.
Man, you know some things, bro. You know some things. Exactly.
You can't call yourself smart unless you try to learn everything.
We don't know everything.
Exactly. You
know
have to
what I'm
try.
saying? We always learning, bro. But this is the book of Job, chapter 19, verse 29. Be ye afraid of the sword. Now, the modern day sword could come in any shape or form as a sickness, as a gun, as whatever could harm you. Could be a form of a sword, right? And something that pierces you. You go through things. Oh, that hurts. I didn't want to go through that trial. But you had to learn to see the bigger picture. You didn't see it at the moment. But now that you went through it, 2-3 weeks later, now you're like, oh, I get it. Because the Lord can take away a job. You're like, Lord, why are you taking away? But he could be saving you from something in that job.
Just we can't really understand it.
Exactly. So it says, Job chapter 19, verse 29. Be ye afraid of the sword, for wrath bringeth the punishment of the sword. So there's a punishment. You can't just do whatever you want. We reap what we sow, right? That's the karma's real. Were you just gonna beat somebody up and not think that that's not gonna come back to you? Everything comes back, right? So it says, for wrath bringeth the punishment of the sword, that ye may know there is a judgment. We're judged daily. But now we're coming to Judgment Day. Now that's going to be the last hurrah, so to speak. That's going to be the climax, the end of the movie. I'm just reading out what's the scripts of the movie, which is characters, But soon, man, Revelation 22, bro. No more tears, no more crying. We even gonna have new bodies. Immortal bodies. We're never gonna die. They just show you that in movies. Oh, it's just Hollywood. Where do you think a lot of these directors get that? The man that made Passion of the Christ right after got struck by lightning.
Yeah, because it wasn't accurate at all.
No, not one bit, right? But yo, think about it spiritually. After he got struck by lightning, yeah, I actually said, whoa, like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
You
He literally
know?
got smited.
He got smited. Exactly. So this is things we look for. The promise of his coming. Even with his chariots, what people call UFOs, those are the angels of the Lord. And they're appearing more and more. You're hearing Matthew 24, right? Verse 37. You can write these scripts down too, because as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. As they were eating, drinking, marrying, giving into marriage. You know, they knew not until the flood came. But they didn't care. Just like now, I'm telling people, World War III's coming. America's referred to as the lake of fire. These people are going to get caught up in that second death. This is the lake of fire. This is hell. People die here. People get robbed here. People get all type. This is judgment here. Ecclesiastes. I seen the place of judgment under the sun, which is what? The earth. You know? Roughly paraphrasing. I don't want to butcher it. But that's the place of judgment here. You know? You're not going to burn for eternity. They use that as a fear tactic to abide by their, whatever they say in these whorehouses. Religion meaning, religio in the Latin meaning to restrain or hold back. Because they signed a 501c3 charter to the government. So they won't have to pay taxes. You know? So this is hell, man. And all this is about to be done away with. Because in order for a new kingdom to be established on earth, one kingdom has to be destroyed. Rightfully so. What's wrong with that?
From the ashes, a new kingdom shall be born.
And from the ashes. Ew, I like that. And that's true. Because we're gonna be at peace, bro. Why wouldn't you want that? Forget about working. Everything's gonna be in order. Even the earth. There's something called, you know about a Sabbath?
Yeah.
Day of rest, right? Which goes by the new moon. Not by Saturday and Sunday. There was never Saturday and Sunday. Even in ancient times, they went by day 1, day 2. Because the new moon, the new moon, when the crescent is not revealed, you know, the word moon comes, I believe, mana meaning month. In the book, even in this Apocrypha, which they took out of the original 1611 King James Version. Because this goes into Alexander the Great and how he slaughtered our people when they try to keep their customs. This is a heavy book. Apocrypha. You could get it on Amazon, bro. Right? Now that's how they determine, all right, when the Sabbath goes, every 7 days. Because now you had the calendar. Alexander changed the calendar. They added days. They changed the calendar, and Pope Gregory the 13th. You know, because they were both going to friction, like, nah, I want it this way, that way. You know,
They added 2 months too because of Julius and Augustus.
Julius Caesar. Okay.
And Augustus.
And
for
Augustus.
August.
I'm gonna look more into that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 2 new months. There's originally only 10 months.
I heard it. Well, I gotta go back into that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't really know much about it either.
even with, because in reality, when I get technical, we're really not in 2022.
Right.
You know, it's further than that, actually. You know, but, because they added, they, you know, 32, day 30, and then even New Year's. This is when the New Year comes in the winter, when everything is dead.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about the new months.
In the middle of the night.
Because it used to be spring at the beginning, then summer, autumn, fall, winter. But now it's winter.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
How does winter start? Right, spring is the beginning, abid, you know? I think meaning, abid meaning replenish or refresh, if I'm not mistaken. And it makes sense because that's when
It's a
everything
beginning.
starts to
It's
blossom.
It's a new beginning. That's why
It's
that's why it was perfect for a new year.
It's a
Start.
new beginning.
Right.
And we're about to face that new beginning, man. You know? What's going on with you? Alright? So, that's the new beginning, man, when Yahushua comes back. So, because look, Moses, when he got the name, he is, I am. When you translate that, it's Yahweh. Even at one point, the natives, you say that, Yahweh. But it meaning he is, or he is to be. Now he said, I come in the name of my Father. Right? Meaning what? So that's why you say Yahweh. Right? He is to be. Bahashim means in the name of Yahweh Shah. He is the deliverer. So meaning they're two separate entities. But he came in the form of his Father. You know? Because you got a lot of people with that Trinity doctrine, and you know that gets messy. That gets messy. Because this is one book. It's a collection of books in the Latin Biblios, meaning Bible, but it's at the end of the day it's all a puzzle. You know, and not everybody is able to connect that puzzle. You know, so if you want, before you go, take my channel down, bro.
Yeah, tell me what your channel is so I can write it down.
So now you would could you go on YouTube?
I can't right now, I don't have internet.
Because you would have to, alright, so you know what?
I can just write down the channel name.
Yeah, that's right, bro. The Julius calendar was named after him. But real quick. Here, take a picture of the channel. So like that, when you look it up,